Surah Makkiyah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal-Fajr, by the dawn. Walayalin Ashr, and by 10 nights.
Now, the 10 nights, all of these translated the word as 10 nights. However, many of the ulama, they said that the 10 nights are the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. The 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Now, why would the 10 days be called 10 nights? Because the word night and day is interchangeable when used in that context in Arabic. You can change them over. What's the evidence for that? Think about Surah Al-Imran and Surah Maryam. قال آيتك ألا تكلم الناس ثلاث ليال في سورة مريم and what in Surah Al-Imran? ثلاثة أيام. فاليوم والليلة, they're interchangeable with each other because in one place in the Quran he says 3 days and in one 3 nights, so it shows that the day and night is interchangeable. فهي وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, the most famous view is that the layal ashar are the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. It's also said because اليوم مع ليلتها, every day comes with a night. فالليال عشر are the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah which are about to start. When do we start? Next Saturday, approximately. Next Friday, next Saturday, something close like that. That is the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah.
Yeah.
They are the best 10 days of the whole year, including better than Ramadan. Except Laylatul Qadr. They are the best 10 days of the whole year. And they're starting, let's get the, according to the calendar, it starts on Saturday. According to the calendar, but it depends on the moon sighting, but according to the calendar, it starts on Saturday. That's the 10 days of the Hijjah. The Prophet ﷺ said, مَا مِنْ أَيَّامٍ الْعَمَلُ الصَّالِحُ فِيهِنَّ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَيَّامِ الْعَشْرِ. There is no day in which good deeds are more beloved to Allah than these 10 days, which is starting on Saturday until Eid. Now,
وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, and by the even number and the odd.
And here there's a difference of opinion about the even number and the odd. Some of them said the even number is the 10th of Dhul Hijjah and the odd is the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Some of them said the even and the odd is the even is the creatures and the odd is Allah. الشفع is al-khalq and al-witr is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allaha witrun yuhibbul witr. Allah is odd numbered and He loves what is odd numbered. But the correct view about the tafsir is the tafsir is general. Everything which is even and odd. Everything which has an even number and an odd number. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by it. By the even number and the odd. Which is all of the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. And some of them said, it's the 5 daily prayers. Ash-Shafa' is all of the other prayers and al-Witr is Maghrib. But actually all of these things are included in the ayah.
وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرٍ, and by the night when it passes.
Now,
هَلْ فِي ذَلِكَ قَسَمٌ لِذِي حِجْرٍ, is there not in all that an oath sufficient for one of perception?
so what we've understood is there's no jawab al-qasam here. There's no answer to the oath. And the oath is made because of the greatness of those things without there being an object that the oath was made for. For example, you say, Wallahi, Wallahi, I'm speaking the truth. Okay? Wallahi is the oath. I'm speaking the truth is the point of the purpose, the sentence that you said the oath for. There is no sentence here. There is only an oath. For there is a qasam bila jawab. There is no answer to it. And the reason for that is because of the greatness of the things that are being sworn by are so great that it doesn't need a sentence afterwards. Those things in themselves, Al-Fajr, the Salat Al-Fajr or the time of Fajr, وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, the 10 days of the Hijjah, وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, everything that is odd and even, the creation and Allah, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرٍ, and the night and what passes, And that in itself is enough. There doesn't need to be a sentence that comes after it.
أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِعَادٍ. Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad?
No.
إِرَمَ ذَاتِ الْعِمَادِ. With Iram,
Iram are the people of Ad. Iram are the people of Ad.
who had lofty pillars.
Now, the lofty pillars, supporting their tents or supporting their buildings. Now,
التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد. The likes of whom had never been created in the land.
no.
وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد. And with Thamud who carved out the rocks in the valley.
أعيد الآية عبد الرحمن انتبه للصاد.
وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد.
Better. جزاك الله خير.
وفرعون ذي الأوتاد. And with Fir'aun, owner of the stakes.
They say the stakes are what he tortured the people with. And he used to torture the people upon stakes like pegs. And he used to tie their arms and legs to them, or he used to drive them through their bodies and so on. For this is said that this was the torture of Fir'aun. Like in the Zahir is that what Fir'aun used to do is tie the people to it. And he basically stretch out their arms and legs and tie them to the stakes and torture them. Otherwise, Al-Awtad could also be the big structures that Fir'aun had built for him. That's also possible. The big buildings and structures that were built for him.
الذين طغوا في البلاد. All of whom oppressed within the lands.
Fir'aun and Ad and Thamud, all of them oppressed throughout the lands.
فأكثروا فيها الفساد. And increased therein the corruption.
No.
فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب. So your Lord poured upon them a scourge of punishment.
A scourge is like a lash, a whip, like a whip of punishment.
إن ربك لبالمرصاد. Indeed, your Lord is in observation.
Now, I'll read you what Al-Sa'di says, because al-mirsad, we came across it before. It means lying in wait. For Al-Sa'di, he said, لمن عصاه يمهله قليلا ثم يأخذه أخذ عزيز مقتدر. That's the meaning of it. Observation is not here. None of them, I don't think, translated it with the proper translation here. It's possible. But labil mirsad, what it means is lying in wait. And what you say is mirsad is when you ambush someone. Inna rabbaka labil mirsad. Your Lord is waiting to ambush you. In what way? The disobedient person, Allah gives him life, happiness, freedom, until when suddenly his death comes like that. This is the meaning of Inna rabbaka labil mirsad. Your Lord is waiting in ambush. And they don't expect it. What is the ambush? It's the attack that happens when you don't expect it. For what happens is they don't expect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will suddenly seize them and take their life and give them a severe punishment after He gave them everything easy. So it's in a way that is befitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other tafsir, bil mirsad, that he's observing is also correct. But there's another meaning here that they didn't allude to, which is that He seizes people with punishment when they don't expect it.
فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن. And as for man, when his Lord tries him and thus is generous to him and favors him, he says, my Lord has honored me.
And why does he say, my Lord has honored me? And when he's given something, he thinks that because he's been given something, and everything is fine, and I believe in Allah, and Allah has honored me. But he's quick to change if something is taken away from him.
وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. But when he tries him and restricts his provision, he says, my Lord has humiliated me.
So when he said, my Lord has honored me, it wasn't sincere from him. It was out of pride and out of arrogance. And like the one who says, look at what my Lord has given me, all of this money, all of these houses, everything I have. This is just because of how much status I have in the sight of my Lord. So he's not humble, he doesn't have humility. And then when he's taken away from him, he blames Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he says, my Lord has humiliated me.
كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم. No, but you do not honor the orphan.
No, meaning it's not as you imagine. Kalla, it's not like you think. Rather, Allah Azza wa Jal tests people with wealth and poverty. So Allah Azza wa Jal gives wealth to some people that He loves and some people that He doesn't. And He gives poverty to some people that He loves and some people that He doesn't. So wealth and poverty are not a sign that Allah has honored you or humiliated you. But it's just a test and a trial. But you do not honor the orphan.
ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين. And you do not encourage one another to feed the poor. وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما. And you consume inheritance, devouring it all together.
And you don't care whether it's halal or haram.
وتحبون المال حبا جما. And you love wealth with immense love.
No.
كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا. No, when the earth has been leveled, pounded and crushed.
On the day of resurrection.
وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا. And your Lord has come and the angels rank upon rank.
Allah comes in a way that is befitting to His majesty and His divinity subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Azza wa Jal comes to judge between the people Himself in a way that is befitting to His majesty.
وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى. And brought within view that day is hell. That day man will remember, but how to him will be the remembrance.
I'm not sure how to him doesn't quite make sense. Maybe what good to him will be the remembrance. That's better. What is the use of remembering then?
يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي. He will say, oh, I wish I had sent ahead some good for my life.
I wish I'd put something forward for the hereafter.
فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد. So on that day, none will punish as severely as his punishment. ولا يوثق.
That doesn't quite go right. On that day, He will punish them severely like no one else would punish them. But the meaning, when you read the translation, it feels like other people will be punishing, but Allah's punishment will be the worst. No one will be punishing on that day. But the meaning is He will punish them like no one else would ever punish them.
ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد. And none will bind as severely as his binding of the evildoers.
How He will bind them in chains. خذوه فغلوه ثم الجحيم صلوه ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه. Wrap him up and tie him in chains, and in a chain that is 70 cubits long, tie him up and throw him into Jahannam.
يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة. To the righteous it will be said, O reassured soul.
O tranquil soul. O tranquil soul. And this is the best soul, al-nafs al-mutma'inna. We said there are two types of soul, al-mutma'inna and al-ammara bis-su'. The one who is inclined towards evil, commanding people to do evil. And the one who is commanding people to do good.
ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية. Return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing to Him. فادخلي في عبادي, and enter among my righteous servants. وادخلي جنتي, and enter my paradise.
سورة البلد وهي مكية.